Imagine a darkness so profound it ceases to be an object and becomes a location in the very fabric of time. This structure is not the violent, hungry whirlpool you were taught to fear, but a perfectly silent and smooth sphere of pure shadow. It hangs in the vacuum like a drop of ink in a vast starlit ocean, waiting in a state of eternal motionless grace. If we were to look closer at the edge of this silence, we would find a realm where the ticking clock of the universe finally decides to sleep. Picture yourself drifting here, where a few peaceful days of weightless rest correspond to millions of years passing in the galaxies far behind you. You're a silent spectator to the entire history of the stars, cradled in a slow-motion dream that outlasts the very suns themselves. Surprisingly, the universe has designed a way to ensure that nothing that falls into this deep well is ever truly forgotten. Every atom's unique signature and every pulse of light is meticulously recorded as a shimmering two-dimensional blueprint on the surface of the shadow. This turns the ultimate void into the ultimate library, an indestructible archive holding the uncorrupted memories of the entire cosmos. Notice the magnificent carousel of molten gold and sapphire blue surrounding this quiet archive, spinning in a state of frictionless harmony. This radiant halo is formed by ancient photons that have travelled for billions of years just to graze the edge of eternity and dance in a circular loop. It is a celestial playground of light, a crown of fire that defines the silhouette of the most mysterious architecture in nature. You're safe here, resting in a sanctuary where the frantic pace of the outside world is replaced by a heavy, syrupy stillness. These wonders are yours to inherit as you sleep, a gift of knowledge from the deepest reaches of the cosmic night. The weight of the universe is no longer a burden, but a comfort that wraps around you like a warm, protective blanket of gravity. As the room settles and your breathing finds its natural rhythmic pulse, let your mind drift toward the center of all things. The story of the stars is ready to unfold, beginning in the quietest part of the great expanding dark. Deep within the center of most galaxies lies a quiet giant holding the stars in a delicate gravitational embrace. Deep within the glowing heart of almost every galaxy, a quiet and unseen giant waits in the absolute cold. This cosmic structure is not a ravenous monster, but rather a patient anchor that holds billions of stars in a delicate, eternal embrace. Without this massive gravitational foundation, the elegant spiraling arms of the Milky Way and beyond would unravel into the endless void. Far removed from the chaos of exploding stars, the black hole sits in a state of profound meditation. It exerts a gentle but unyielding pull that choreographs the slow, sweeping dance of entire solar systems over eons. The sheer mass concentrated here bends the fabric of space into a deep valley, providing a stable hearth around which a galaxy can peacefully revolve. Observers often mistake the silence of this region for emptiness, yet it is the most heavily populated intersection of gravity and time. The quiet giant requires no illumination to assert its presence, shaping the destiny of the cosmos from the shadows. Here, in the very center of everything, darkness becomes the ultimate unifying force of creation. Picture the event horizon slowly emerging from the cosmic dust, revealing itself not as a violent churning whirlpool, but as a flawless sphere of absolute shadow. This boundary marks the exact perimeter where light surrenders to gravity, creating a surface so impossibly smooth that no physical material could ever replicate its perfection. It hangs in the vacuum like a drop of black ink suspended in a vast ocean of starlight. Venturing closer to this pristine sphere reveals a profound and unshatterable silence that permeates the surrounding space. The violent energies of the universe are entirely muted at this threshold, smoothed out into a perfect mathematical abstraction of pure geometry. There are no storms, no textures, and no imperfections upon the surface of this ultimate darkness. Staring into this shadow is entirely unlike looking at a dark planet or an obscured moon. It is an encounter with a region where the universe has simply ceased to project information outward. the eye finds no purchase on its featureless expanse, drawn endlessly into a calming, infinite nothingness. Against the vibrant, fiery backdrop of countless dying and birthing stars, the boundary of a black hole casts a strikingly gentle silhouette. This crisp outline is formed as the intense gravity selectively plucks passing light waves from the sky, leaving behind a perfectly circular void. It is a cosmic eclipse that does not pass, a permanent eclipse painted directly onto the canvas of space-time. Watching this silhouette drift against nebulas and star clusters provides a beautiful contrast between the frenetic energy of the galaxy and the profound calm of the singularity. The shadow does not actively consume the light behind it, but simply refuses to let it pass through its quiet domain. As a result, the glowing gases of the cosmos frame the darkness with breathtaking precision. If we were to look closer, we would see how this soft shadow moves with incredible grace through the galactic medium. It glides effortlessly, a silent phantom whose presence is only known by the majestic framing of the light it interrupts. The silhouette stands as a testament to the elegant boundary between the known universe and the unknowable depths. Surrounding this absolute shadow, the very fabric of light is forced to bend into elegant sweeping curves that form a radiant golden halo. Photons travelling across the vast expanse of the cosmos are gently nudged off their straight paths by the immense curvature of space. They are coaxed into beautiful flowing arcs that wrap around the darkness like a crown of woven starlight. This luminous ring shimmers with the collected brilliance of 1,000 distant galaxies, all distorted into a mesmerizing optical illusion. The gravity of the black hole acts as an unparalleled cosmic lens, magnifying and stretching the ancient light into sweeping arcs of fire. It is a majestic visual symphony, where the rigid laws of optics dissolve into fluid, breathtaking artistry. Contemplating this halo evokes a deep sense of wonder, as it is composed of light that has been diverted but not destroyed. The halo glows softly but persistently, a beacon of surviving energy at the edge of an eternal drop. Through this glowing ring, the black hole adorns itself with the very light it can never truly possess. Countless particles of light illuminating this ring have travelled in a straight line for billions of years across the lonely expanse of the universe. Their epic journey through the frigid vacuum culminates in a graceful sweeping turn just above the black hole's surface. They are captured in a delicate temporary orbit, gently grazing the edge of eternity before finally flying out toward our distant telescopes. These ancient messengers bring with them the colours of galaxies that have long since faded into cosmic dust. As they circle the smooth shadow, their collective glow creates a shimmering mosaic of the universe's oldest memories. The ring is quite literally a physical archive of trapped light, burning brightly at the threshold of the unknown. Imagine the incredible patience of these photons, drifting through the dark epochs of time only to become part of this radiant halo. Their brief dance on the event horizon transforms a simple sphere of darkness into an object of profound, glowing beauty. This fragile interaction between ancient starlight and immense gravity produces one of the most hypnotic sights in nature. Approaching the event horizon would not subject a traveller to a violent tearing force, but rather to a profound sensation of absolute weightlessness. In freefall toward the darkness, the crushing grip of gravity is paradoxically unfelt, replaced by a smooth and frictionless glide. It is a journey akin to drifting slowly down a deep, calm river on a perfectly windless night. The surrounding space offers no resistance, gently carrying anything that enters along invisible sloping currents. Without a surface to strike or an atmosphere to generate friction, the descent is characterized by a haunting, majestic silence. One would simply float inward, cradled in the very geometry of a universe folding in upon itself. Curiously, this serene descent masks the incredible speeds at which space itself is rushing toward the singularity. The illusion of stillness remains perfectly intact, allowing a traveller to experience the ultimate cosmic freefall in total peace. It is the gentlest of embraces from the most powerful gravitational force known to exist. Gazing back from the threshold of the abyss, the sky behind you would undergo a spectacular and dizzying transformation. The intense curvature of space gathers the light of every distant star and compresses it into a brilliant concentrated sphere of illumination. The entire observable cosmos shrinks into a glowing panoramic bubble, hanging suspended in the void just over your shoulder. This radiant bubble contains the distorted images of everything that has ever shined, wrapped together in a blinding halo of celestial fire. As you look toward the center of the black hole, the absolute darkness ahead stands in breathtaking contrast to the blinding concentration of the universe behind. You are positioned exactly at the focal point of creation, balanced between all the light that ever was and the infinite shadow. Watching the stars warp and stretch along the edges of this cosmic lens creates an immersive, hypnotic kaleidoscope of colour and motion. The familiar constellations dissolve into long, elegant streaks of neon that paint the entrance to the void. It is a deeply personal light show, a final, beautiful gift from the universe before slipping into the dark. Surprisingly, the fabric of space-time does not tear, fracture, or break under the immense strain of the black hole's gravity. Instead, the invisible grid of the universe exhibits incredible resilience, stretching infinitely inward like a sheet of flawless velvet. The transition from normal space to the interior of the shadow is entirely seamless, lacking any harsh borders or violent disruptions. This smooth continuation of reality means that the event horizon is less of a physical barrier and more of a quiet, shifting conceptual boundary. The universe accommodates the massive weight by simply elongating the dimensions of depth and time into a state of profound stillness. Everything remains connected, woven together in a continuous, elegant descent that defies the human instinct for destruction. Contemplating this unbroken stretch of space reveals a cosmos that bends to infinity with unparalleled grace. The sheer elasticity of existence prevents cataclysm, allowing gravity to pull endlessly without ever snapping the threads of reality. It is a quiet testament to the mathematical perfection that underpins even the most extreme environments in nature. The largest supermassive giants in the universe possess event horizons so impossibly vast that their curvature is almost completely flat to a local observer. Because of this enormous scale, the tidal forces at the boundary are spread out and incredibly weak. A lone traveller drifting across this threshold would experience no sudden jolts, no crushing pressures, and no physical warnings of any kind. In fact, the passage from the observable universe into the permanent shadow would be so gentle that the exact moment of crossing would slip by entirely unnoticed. The surrounding stars would continue to shine, the sensation of floating would remain unchanged, and the peaceful descent would carry on without interruption. Only mathematics could definitively state that the point of no return had been breached. This invisible crossing highlights one of the most poetic ironies of astrophysics, where the ultimate trap feels exactly like absolute freedom. The gargantuan size of the black hole guarantees a serene, deeply quiet transition out of the known reality. It is a cosmic sleight of hand concealing the edge of the universe in plain sight. Ultimately, these dark, silent spheres serve as the massive cosmic anchors around which the majesty of the universe is built. The supermassive black holes resting in galactic centers project a gravitational net that keeps billions of volatile stars gracefully tethered together. Without this invisible, calming leash, the beautiful spiraling arms of gas and starlight would eventually scatter off into the cold expanse. They provide a vital center of gravity, a reliable axis that organizes the chaotic motion of the cosmos into a slow, deliberate carousel. By holding the core tightly in place, the black hole ensures that the galaxy can evolve and mature over billions of years without unraveling. It is the hidden, heavy heart that beats rhythmically at the center of a swirling city of light. Recognizing this structural harmony changes our perspective from viewing black holes as cosmic destroyers to understanding them as foundational architects. They do not merely consume the galaxy, they hold it in a delicate, necessary embrace. Thus, the gentle edge of darkness is the very thing that allows the light of the universe to maintain its beautiful, enduring shape. To maintain that enduring shape, the universe sometimes relies on the motion of pairs trapped in a delicate, necessary embrace. When two of these massive spheres find themselves locked in orbit around one another, they begin a slow and hypnotic cosmic dance. This waltz does not disturb the surrounding dust with wind, but instead kneads the very geometry of the vacuum. Invisible ripples begin to cascade through the fabric of space itself, rolling outward like waves upon a dark, shoreless sea. As the orbiting pair circles closer together, they drag the invisible grid of reality along with them. The space between them stretches and squeezes in rhythmic, undulating patterns that perfectly mirror their orbital ballet. Radiating outward from this slow dance, these undulations carry the memory of ancient encounters across the cold, expanding universe. They are the most pristine messengers in nature, travelling perfectly unhindered through galaxies, nebulas, and the desolate spaces between them. Because they do not interact with ordinary matter, their form remains beautifully pure and uninterrupted by the dust of ages. Their journey can span billions of years, crossing the entire breadth of the observable cosmos without losing a single beat. The perfect rhythm generated by the orbiting pair is locked into the fabric of space, preserving a flawless record of their movement. It is an eternal broadcast of motion, etched directly into the medium of reality itself. Reflecting on this flawless preservation reveals a universe that never truly forgets the majestic events of its past. The expanding ripples act as a living memory, moving outward in expanding spheres of silent narration. They ensure that the legacy of every cosmic embrace endures forever, encoded in the stretching and squeezing of the void. Listen closely to the mathematics of this movement, and you begin to understand that these waves are a symphony played upon the strings of space-time. When translated by the right instruments, this vibration manifests not as an explosion, but as a low, soothing chirp. It is a sound that begins as a deep, rumbling hum and gently rises in pitch as the dance quickens. This acoustic translation provides a completely new way to experience the majesty of the cosmos, shifting our focus from sight to sound. The vacuum of space, long thought to be entirely silent, is actually ringing with these deeply resonant tones. It is as if the universe itself possesses a voice, speaking in the slow, rhythmic language of gravitational frequency. Envisioning this sound transforms the cold void into a grand, resonant concert hall, where the largest masses play the deepest notes. The chirp is incredibly brief, a fleeting crescendo that perfectly captures the final moments of an eons-long orbital embrace. It is the ultimate expression of cosmic harmony, playing out in perfect, invisible acoustics. Far from being destructive forces, these rolling waves are characterized by their breathtaking gentleness by the time they reach our shores. They have traveled across unimaginable distances, their initial power diluted into the softest and most subtle of vibrations. They pass through planets, atmospheres, and everything on the surface with the harmless grace of a shifting breeze. In fact, right at this very moment, these ancient ripples are passing through your own resting body. As you sit breathing comfortably, the space occupying your form is stretching and squeezing by fractions of an atomic nucleus. You do not feel it, your pulse does not change, but you are physically participating in the ancient rhythm of the stars. This invisible tide sweeps through the room like the gentlest of ocean swells, connecting your quiet stillness to the deepest phenomena of the cosmos. It is a profoundly comforting thought that the most energetic events in nature eventually brush against us as an imperceptible caress. The universe touches us constantly, not with harshness, but with the soft, rolling pulse of its oldest waves. Deep within the final moments of their inward spiral, the orbiting pair finally unites in a beautifully fluid and silent collision. The energy released in this unseen fraction of a second is so staggering that it completely defies ordinary comprehension. For that briefest of moments, the dark merger outshines all the glowing stars in the observable universe combined. However, this extraordinary luminosity is not made of light. It is pure, radiating gravity that remains utterly invisible to the eye. It is an outpouring of power that operates in total darkness, a shadow flash that floods the surrounding space with raw kinetic energy. The universe experiences its brightest moment in perfect, unyielding obscurity. Realizing the scale of this unseen power highlights the beautiful duality of these cosmic events. They are simultaneously the most energetic phenomena in existence and the quietest, leaving no glowing embers or fiery remnants behind. All that immense power is poured cleanly into the stretching of space, a magnificent transfer of energy that honors the absolute silence of the void. Curiously, the newly merged entity does not simply snap into a state of immediate rigid stillness after the collision. Instead, the resulting mass vibrates and undulates, shaking off the chaotic geometry of the merger like a droplet of water settling on a leaf. In the language of astrophysics, the newly formed sphere literally rings like a struck bell. This ring-down phase is a brief period of beautiful instability, where the fabric of space hums with the effort of finding its perfect shape. The vibrations are the final, resonant notes of the cosmic symphony, smoothing out the distortions left behind by the collision. It is an invisible reverberation, a trembling in the structure of reality that signals the end of the long dance. Imagine the deep, reverberating tone of a massive gong, slowly dissipating its energy into the surrounding air. The ringing of space-time follows the exact same mathematical principles, translating physical vibration into a steady, calming release of energy. The newborn mass sings its own lullaby, settling its incredible weight into a comfortable, stable rhythm. Gradually, this magnificent ringing fades away into perfect, undisturbed silence, as the energy is carried off by the final ripples. What remains is a pristine, unblemished single sphere, completely devoid of any memory of the violent merger that created it. All the chaotic twisting of space has been ironed out, leaving behind a surface of absolute, flawless smoothness. The return to this perfect state mirrors the deep, restful calm you feel as your breathing slows and your muscles relax into your chair. Just as your body finds its equilibrium in the quiet moments, the fabric of space finds its ultimate rest in the geometry of the new sphere. The tension of the dance is fully resolved, replaced by a profound and lasting peace. This transition from dynamic motion to perfect stillness is one of the most elegant processes in all of physics. The universe does not tolerate imperfections in these dark spheres, actively radiating away any flaws until only mathematical purity remains. The result is a quiet monument to the self-correcting, peaceful nature of the cosmos. Picture the overarching fabric of space-time not as a rigid grid, but as a serene, glassy lake stretching out into infinity. The cosmic events that generate these waves are like perfectly smooth pebbles dropped into the center of this dark, reflective water. The resulting undulations travel outward in majestic, slow-moving concentric circles, disturbing the pristine surface with elegant symmetry. Because the medium of space is so vast and frictionless, these ripples encounter no shores to break against and no winds to distort their shape. They glide across the glassy expanse with a majestic, unhurried grace, preserving their perfectly rounded forms over millions of light years. The serenity of this cosmic lake ensures that the waves remain as beautiful and defined as the moment they were born. Observing this conceptual lake reveals a universe defined by its fluidity and its capacity for quiet motion. The ripples do not churn the water into a storm, they simply elevate and lower it in a gentle rolling rhythm. It is a landscape of slow, invisible tides, where the most massive objects create the most peaceful and enduring waves. No matter how chaotic or violent the origin of these waves might be at their source, they always arrive at Earth as a delicate whisper. The vastness of the cosmos acts as the ultimate filter, dampening the raw energy into a beautifully subtle vibration. By the time they reach our instruments, they are telling stories of distances and timescales we can barely fathom. This transformation from roaring power to a quiet murmur highlights the incredible insulating properties of the cosmic void. The sheer volume of space between us and these distant events protects our fragile world, softening the blows of the universe into gentle nudges. We are privileged to listen to the echoes of titans without ever having to feel their true weight. Each whispering wave that washes over our planet carries a tiny, encoded piece of galactic history. They are the quietest messengers imaginable, delivering their profound truths without demanding our attention or disrupting our lives. It is a beautiful paradox that the most massive events in nature communicate with us in the softest possible voice. Beyond the distinct individual chirps of specific mergers, the universe constantly hums with a stochastic background chorus of ancient overlapping waves. This is the collective vibration of countless distant dark stars, all dancing and merging in the farthest reaches of time. Together their ripples blend into a seamless, continuous murmur that permeates every cubic inch of reality. This omnipresent hum serves as a cosmic lullaby, a deeply resonant and eternal background track to the existence of everything. As you let your mind drift, feeling the solid support beneath you, you're immersed in this silent chorus of the cosmos. The subtle stretching and squeezing of space is the literal heartbeat of the universe, drumming a slow, comforting rhythm. Recognizing this eternal hum shifts our understanding of the void from a place of dead silence to a realm of continuous, gentle song. It is a reminder that the universe is alive with invisible motion, constantly breathing through the medium of gravity. We are cradled within this symphony of silent waves, rocked gently by the echoes of a beautifully dynamic cosmos. This beautifully dynamic cosmos breathes not only through the invisible motion of waves, but through the deliberate creative exhalation of the black holes themselves. Rather than just consuming the matter that drifts too close, these massive centers are master sculptors, actively shaping the galactic environment around them. They breathe life into the dark, turning the raw material of the void into the very foundations of new solar systems. The prevailing myth of a black hole is that of an endless cosmic vacuum, an inescapable drain that only destroys. In reality, the complex magnetic fields surrounding the edge capture a significant portion of falling material before it ever crosses the threshold. This captured dust and gas is then accelerated and redirected, transformed from doomed debris into a vital creative force. Understanding this process shifts the role of these dark spheres from the end of a cosmic story to its magnificent beginning. They recycle the chaotic elements of dead stars and interstellar dust, forging them into tools of immense power. It is a profound act of cosmic alchemy, where destruction is narrowly avoided to fuel a spectacular rebirth. Erupting from the poles of these active centers, enormous fountains of energy known as relativistic jets are gently pushed outward into the cosmic night. These jets are composed of superheated plasma, glowing with a brilliant warm light that pierces the cold expanse of deep space. They carry the recycled building blocks of matter far beyond the immediate grasp of the singularity, seeding the surrounding galaxy. These fountains do not blast out with the chaotic violence of an explosion, but rather flow with a sustained majestic power. They are a continuous stream of energy, a steady outpouring that provides a constant source of heat and material to the freezing void. The plasma drifts softly outward, carrying the necessary ingredients for creation to regions that would otherwise remain barren. As you sit comfortably, feeling the steady warmth of your own body, consider the immense warmth carried by these cosmic fountains. They are the great distributors of energy in the universe, ensuring that the necessary spark for new life is spread far and wide. The jets represent the profound generosity of the cosmos, returning what was almost lost back to the dark sky. These majestic jets can extend for millions of light years, crossing unimaginable distances and dwarfing the very galaxies that host them. As they travel through the intergalactic medium, they slowly expand and diffuse, blooming like enormous glowing flowers in the absolute cold. Their intricate, sprawling structures are among the largest and most beautiful formations known to exist anywhere in nature. The scale of these blooming jets defies all normal human intuition, reaching across voids that take light itself millions of years to cross. They paint the dark canvas of space with sweeping strokes of radiant plasma, creating temporary luminous bridges between distant star clusters. The sheer size of these structures makes the host galaxy look like a tiny glowing seed from which a massive cosmic tree has grown. Viewing these enormous glowing blossoms highlights the incredible reach of a single, localized point of gravity. A solitary dark sphere can influence the evolution of space on a scale that affects neighboring galaxies. It is a breathtaking demonstration of interconnectedness, where the smallest, densest point creates the largest, most expansive art. Notice how the intense magnetic fields surrounding the black hole twist and braid this outflowing energy into stable, elegant columns of light. These invisible fields act like the skilled hands of a sculptor, guiding the raw plasma and preventing it from simply dissipating into the void. They weave the glowing matter into tight, cohesive ropes that maintain their structure over incredible distances. This magnetic confinement creates a beautiful, structured flow, much like water being shaped by a finely crafted fountain nozzle. The braids of plasma spiral around one another, generating a mesmerizing helical pattern that glows with intense, focused heat. The order imposed by these fields transforms what could be a chaotic spray into a directed, purposeful beam of creation. The elegance of these braided columns stands in stark contrast to the absolute chaos of the material before it was captured. It is as if the universe insists on creating order and beauty out of the most extreme environments. The magnetic hands carefully guide the stardust, ensuring it reaches its destination in a form that's ready to be utilized. Eventually, the dust and gas pushed away by this gentle, sustained breeze begin to cool as they drift further into the dark. This cooling process is crucial, as it allows the scattered particles to slowly clump together, forming vast, dark clouds in the interstellar medium. These clouds become the fertile nurseries where the next generation of infant stars will eventually take their first breaths. Without the initial outward push from the jets, this vital material would either remain trapped near the center or be far too hot to coalesce. The black hole provides exactly the right amount of dispersal and cooling time to create the perfect conditions for stellar birth. It gently prepares the cosmic soil, ensuring that the seeds of new stars have a stable, cool place to grow. As you breathe in deeply and exhale slowly, finding a calm rhythm, imagine the slow, cooling exhalation of these cosmic nurseries. The transition from brilliant, superheated plasma to cool, quiet gas clouds is a deeply peaceful process. It is the necessary pause before creation, the quiet gathering of materials in the dark before a new star ignites. Surprisingly, without this outward pressure, galaxies would grow far too quickly and exhaust their star-making fuel in a chaotic, unsustainable rush. The gravity of the galaxy alone would pull all available gas inward too rapidly, causing a sudden, violent burst of star formation. This rapid consumption would quickly leave the galaxy barren, a burned-out shell completely devoid of the materials needed for future life. The jets act as a vital counterbalance, pushing back against this inward collapse and slowing down the rate at which gas is consumed. They ensure that the process of creation is measured, steady, and sustainable over billions of years. By preventing a chaotic rush, the black hole guarantees that the galaxy enjoys a long, healthy, and vibrant life. This regulating force is a beautiful example of nature finding equilibrium in the most extreme circumstances. The delicate balance between the inward pull of gravity and the outward push of the jets creates a stable, enduring environment. It is a slow, methodical approach to galaxy building, where patience ultimately ensures the survival of the starry light. In this way, black holes act as immense cosmic thermostats, carefully regulating the temperature and density of the gas clouds that blanket their host galaxies. When the galaxy begins to cool too much and star formation accelerates dangerously, more material falls toward the center. This influx fuels the jets, which then blast heat back into the gas clouds, slowing the formation process down again. This feedback loop is incredibly precise, maintaining the delicate thermal balance required for a galaxy to thrive. It is an automated, self-correcting system that prevents both catastrophic freezing and unsustainable burning within the galactic environment. The dark center constantly monitors the needs of the surrounding space, adjusting its output to maintain perfect harmony. The elegance of this thermostat mechanism reveals a profound level of organization hidden within the mechanics of the cosmos. The universe relies on its most extreme objects to carefully manage the climate of entire galaxies. This quiet regulation ensures that the conditions for life and light are preserved through the long, slow passage of cosmic time. In a very real sense, the presence of a supermassive giant at the center ensures a galaxy remains fertile and vibrant over billions of years. The galaxy is not a static object, but a living ecosystem that requires constant management and renewal. The active center provides this necessary oversight, acting as the beating heart that drives the slow circulation of vital elements. Without this central gardener tending to the interstellar medium, a galaxy would quickly become a stagnant and lifeless collection of aging stars. The constant stirring, heating, and cooling provided by the jets keeps the galactic environment dynamic and full of potential. The continued brilliance of the spiral arms is a direct result of the unseen work happening in the deep dark. Reflecting on this profound connection, you can appreciate the true importance of the quiet darkness. The enduring beauty of a galaxy is a testament to the careful, sustained effort of its invisible architect. The fertility of the cosmos depends entirely on the delicate, invisible touch of its most massive inhabitants. Gaze into the intricate filaments of glowing gas that surround these active centers, resembling delicate wisps of smoke lingering in a still room. These filaments are the physical evidence of the gentle breeze blowing outward, tracing the path of the jets through the surrounding dust. They create a beautifully complex web of illuminated pathways, highlighting the intricate flow of energy through the void. These glowing threads are incredibly fragile, yet they persist for millions of years, held in place by the gentle pressure of the outgoing plasma. They twist and curl with the slow rotation of the galaxy, forming delicate, luminous patterns against the black backdrop of space. It is a cosmic tapestry, woven from recycled starlight and guided by invisible magnetic hands. The stillness of these smoky filaments provides a sharp contrast to the immense power that created them. They're a quiet, lingering reminder of the continuous, peaceful exchange of energy that sustains the galaxy. Watching these glowing wisps drift through the dark is like observing the slow, steady breathing of the universe itself. Ultimately, the profound darkness at the center is the very thing responsible for the brilliant starlight that illuminates the night sky. The stars we see, the nebulas that glow with vibrant colors, and the long, sweeping arms of the Milky Way all owe their existence to this careful regulation. The quiet giant does not consume the light. It carefully cultivates the conditions necessary for the light to exist at all. This realization flips our understanding of the cosmos, placing the shadows as the necessary foundation for the brilliance. The dark spheres are the hidden engines of creation, the master sculptors that breathe enduring life into the void. Without the gentle, regulated edge of darkness, the magnificent, enduring beauty of the starry night would simply not be possible. This regulated edge of darkness offers a gift beyond mere structure. It provides the ultimate form of cosmic rest. As a traveller approaches the deep well of gravity, the frantic pace of existence begins to melt away into a heavy, syrupy stillness. Time itself, once a rigid and relentless arrow, begins to soften and bend under the weight of the dark sphere, losing its power to drive the universe forward. In this region, the very fabric of reality behaves like a tired engine cooling down after an eternity of work. The closer one gets to the silent horizon, the more the seconds stretch and elongate, turning fleeting moments into hours and hours into vast uncounted ages. It is a place where the exhaustion of the cosmos finds its resolution in a state of perfect, unmoving grace. Deep within this gravitational influence, the frantic ticking of the clock of the universe is replaced by a slow, resonant thrum. Every movement becomes deliberate. Every thought expands to fill the growing gaps between the beats of time. You're no longer a victim of the passing minutes, but a guest in a realm where time has finally decided to close its eyes and sleep. If you were to find a stable orbit just above the shimmering veil of the horizon, your perspective on reality would transform into something truly divine. What feels like a few peaceful days of drifting in your local space would correspond to millions of years passing in the distant, uncurved reaches of the galaxy. You would become a silent spectator to the life and death of entire solar systems, watching the long history of your homeworld unfold like a fast-forwarded film. From this vantage point, the chaotic collisions of galaxies and the slow cooling of stars happen in what seems like the blink of an eye. You remain cradled in a silent, slow-motion dream while the rest of the universe rushes toward its final destiny at breakneck speed. It is an experience of profound detachment, where you're both part of the cosmos and entirely removed from its frantic timeline. This temporal disparity allows for a level of observation that is otherwise impossible in the standard flow of life. You can watch the slow drift of continents and the evolution of entire species as if they were brief ripples on a surface. While you exist in a sanctuary of stillness, the rest of creation performs its final energetic acts on a stage you have outgrown. Time dilation wraps around the black hole like a heavy, cozy blanket, isolating its immediate surroundings from the hurried pace of the outside universe. This gravitational padding creates a sanctuary where the laws of physics favour the patient over the fast, shielding this pocket of space from the ravages of cosmic age. Within this protective layer, the universe loses its sharp edges and its frantic urgency, allowing for a state of existence that feels like a perpetual twilight. This isolation is not a wall, but a gradual softening of the connection between the black hole and the stars that orbit it. The deeper you sink into the blanket, the more distant and irrelevant the outside world becomes. The light of distant suns arrives as a faint, stretched-out memory, filtered through the thick atmosphere of distorted time. In this sanctuary, the concept of a deadline is completely erased by the overwhelming presence of the dark mass. The universe grants you a reprieve from the entropic decay that governs all other matter. You're cocooned in a fold of space-time that prioritizes the preservation of the now over the inevitable arrival of the future. Picture a clock face where the second hand no longer ticks with a sharp, metallic click, but instead glides through a vast ocean of thick, golden honey. Every movement is incredibly deliberate and slow, requiring an eternity to complete a single, sweeping rotation across the numbers. In this realm, the very concept of a second expands until it can contain the rise and fall of great civilizations. The resistance of the gravitational field acts like the viscosity of the honey, making every physical process feel weighted and significant. Light itself seems to struggle to move, its pulses slowed to a crawl as it navigates the dense architecture of warped space. This slowness is not a burden, but a comforting rejection of the hurriedness that defines the rest of the material world. As your back rests against your chair and your heartbeat settles into its own steady rhythm, you can almost feel the weight of this temporal honey. It is a sensation of absolute surrender to the physics of the deep dark, where even the pulse of your own existence slows down to match the heartbeat of the galaxy. Here, the struggle to keep up with the world is replaced by the peace of falling behind. Observers watching your journey from the safety of a distant star system would never actually see you disappear into the absolute darkness of the center. Instead, they would witness your image gradually slowing down and reddening until you appear as a frozen, timeless painting etched onto the edge of the event horizon. You would remain there for them for all eternity, a permanent and beautiful monument to the exact moment you stepped into the long slumber. To the outside world, you become a ghost of light, a static image caught in a frame of gravity that never releases its grip. They could study your features and watch the light from your vessel fade into the infrared, but they would never see you cross the threshold. You're preserved in their reality as an immortal figure, standing on the precipice of the unknown without ever falling. This visual preservation is a quirk of how light escapes the intense curvature of the black hole. As the light waves struggle to climb out, they arrive at the observer's eyes with increasingly long intervals between them. The result is a perpetual portrait, a slice of your history that the universe has decided to keep on display forever. Living in this eternal present feels like being caught in the still point of a turning world, where all motion is relative and all meaning is concentrated in a single moment. The burdens of history are stripped away, leaving only the pure essence of being. You exist in a state of clarity that can only be achieved when the distraction of the clock is finally removed. This dissolution of time creates a psychological landscape of total tranquility. Without the ticking of the second hand to remind you of what is lost, the mind is free to expand into the infinite space of the current experience. It is the ultimate form of mindfulness, practiced not through effort, but through the natural consequence of being near the most massive object in existence. Even the most energetic waves of light are forced to yield to this overwhelming temporal fatigue, stretching their wavelengths out as they try to climb away from the gravity well. Vibrant blues and brilliant violets shift gracefully toward the red end of the spectrum, eventually lengthening into long, sleepy radio waves that hum quietly in the dark. It is as if the light itself is yawning, losing its intensity and settling into a low-frequency slumber. This redshift is a physical manifestation of the energy lost as photons fight against the pull of the dark sphere. They grow tired, their oscillations slowing down until they become the softest of whispers in the electromagnetic field. The black hole acts as a cosmic muffler, turning the high-pitched screams of the universe into a gentle, rhythmic bass note. If we were to look closer, we would see that the very colour of reality changes at the edge of the horizon. The world fades into a deep, comforting crimson before vanishing into the invisible realm of long-wave radiation. This transformation ensures that the immediate surroundings of a black hole are bathed in a soft, non-intrusive glow that never jars the senses. This slowing of time is not a mechanical failure of the universe or a glitch in the cosmic order, but a beautiful and intentional feature of relativity. It is the mechanism by which the universe keeps everything in balance, ensuring that the intense concentration of mass does not rip the fabric of reality. By slowing time, the universe creates a buffer that allows space to bend without breaking. This feature of the natural world demonstrates a level of architectural foresight that is staggering in its elegance. The interplay between gravity and time is a seamless tapestry, where the presence of a heavy heart naturally creates a sanctuary of slowness. It is a protective measure, a way for the cosmos to accommodate its most extreme inhabitants without sacrificing its overall stability. Imagine escaping the frantic entropic march toward the heat death of the universe simply by finding a quiet orbit near a sleeping stellar remnant. While the rest of the cosmos burns through its fuel, fades into cold ash, and expands into nothingness, you would remain preserved in your slow-motion haven. You would outlast the very stars themselves, existing in a state of suspended animation, while the universe quietly cycles through its grandest and final epochs. In this sanctuary, you are effectively a time traveller to the end of all things. By the time you complete a few orbits and decide to head back into deeper space, the universe you left behind would be unrecognizable, aged by trillions of years. You would emerge into a world of profound silence, having skipped the long, slow decline of the galactic era. This ability to bypass the ravages of entropy makes the black hole the ultimate lifeboat in the ocean of time. It offers a way to endure when everything else is destined to fade. It is a quiet, dark fortress that guards its inhabitants against the relentless erosion of the passing eons. Here, at the edge of the deepest and most profound shadow, the universe finally grants a traveller the explicit permission to pause. It offers a stillness unmatched anywhere else in nature, a place where the work of the cosmos is finished and the rest can begin. In the embrace of the black hole, the constant struggle of existence is replaced by the perfect, timeless peace of the long cosmic slumber. Surrendering to this profound stillness is the final act of a long journey through the stars. It is the moment when the weight of the universe becomes a comfort rather than a burden. In this ultimate form of cosmic rest, you are finally, truly, and eternally at peace. This eternal peace is not a stagnant end, but a state of graceful, rhythmic activity that encircles the silent shadow. Surrounding the stillness of the center is a magnificent carousel of gas and dust known as an accretion disk, spinning in a state of perfect, frictionless harmony. It is a celestial playground where the raw materials of the universe assemble to perform one final glowing revolution. It is a vision of cosmic order where the remnants of stars are woven into a shimmering circular tapestry that never frays or falters. This circular motion creates a sense of profound stability, providing a radiant boundary that defines the reach of the darkness. As the disk turns, it carries the history of the galaxy in its orbit, a shimmering carousel of ancient stardust. Surprisingly, the very act of this internal motion generates a gentle, pervasive warmth that radiates into the absolute cold of the surrounding void. As the particles within the disk slide past one another at nearly the speed of light, they create an internal friction that heats the cosmic dust to millions of degrees. This is not the scorching, destructive heat of a furnace, but a radiant and steady light that illuminates the dark with a soft, persistent glow. This warmth reaches out across the light years, providing a touch of heat to the freezing reaches of the interstellar medium. It transforms the black hole into a hearth for the galaxy, a central point of energy that wards off the creeping chill of deep space. Within this zone, the vacuum is filled with a comforting golden radiance that speaks of the hidden vitality contained within the dark. If we were to look closer at this spinning masterpiece, we would see a graceful gradient of colour that defines the various regions of the disk. On the outer reaches, where the motion is slower and the temperatures are relatively mild, the dust glows with the deep, comforting reds of a dying ember. Moving inward, these hues shift seamlessly into vibrant oranges and brilliant yellows, resembling a ring of liquid sunlight captured in a loop. Finally, at the very inner edge, the intensity reaches such a height that the light transforms into a blinding sapphire blue. This transition of colour provides a visual map of the energy being unlocked by the black hole's presence as matter draws closer to the edge. It is a stunning display of spectral beauty, where the rainbow is rewritten in the language of extreme gravity and speed. The shifting tones create a mesmerizing pattern of light that swirls in perfect time with the rotation of the disk, casting a multicolored glow across the void. Each shade tells a story of energy, distance, and the slow, inevitable approach toward the final, silent center. This spectrum is the visual signature of the disk, a vibrant rainbow of molten gold and blue sapphire. As you remain still, feeling the gentle support of the earth beneath you, consider the immense energy being generated in this distant sapphire blue ring. Notice how the disk does not appear symmetrical to our eyes, but instead exhibits a fascinating trick of light known as relativistic beaming. Because the material is spinning at such incredible velocities, the side of the disk moving toward us appears significantly brighter than the side moving away. It acts much like the focused beam of a lighthouse sweeping across the dark, momentarily intensifying as it points in our direction. This asymmetry adds a sense of dynamic depth to the ring, making it appear to bulge and glow with an uneven living energy. It is a reminder that in this realm, even light is subject to the rules of high-speed perspective and the warping of time. The resulting image is one of a shimmering lopsided halo that seems to breathe with light as it turns through the vacuum. This effect turns the accretion disk into a living, pulsing entity of light that guides the eye toward the central shadow with a rhythmic brightness. It is a majestic optical illusion created by the interplay of speed, light, and the curvature of the universe itself. We see a disk that is always in motion, its brightness shifting like the phases of a celestial moon. This structure stands as one of the most efficient energy generators in the entire known universe, far surpassing the nuclear fusion that powers ordinary stars. It has the unique ability to turn quiet, inert mass directly into brilliant outgoing illumination with staggering productivity. Nearly half of the energy contained within a piece of matter can be released as it spirals through the disk toward the event horizon. This level of conversion is a testament to the raw power of gravity as a transformative tool that reshapes the world from the inside out. It proves that the most profound darkness is capable of creating the most efficient and powerful light when given the chance to act on the vacuum. The black hole is not just a sink for matter, but a highly tuned engine of cosmic radiance that powers the farthest reaches of space. This efficiency ensures that even a small amount of captured dust can fuel a beacon that shines across the eons with a steady flame. It is a masterclass in cosmic economy, where nothing is wasted in the pursuit of illumination and the preservation of energy. The disk is a testament to the fact that the universe can extract brilliance from the simplest of materials, turning shadow into gold. Contrary to the image of a violent, chaotic suction, the matter within the disk does not fall toward the centre in a frantic rush. Instead, it spirals inward with the quiet elegance of a single autumn leaf caught in a gentle, invisible breeze. Each particle traces a long, winding path that takes it around the centre millions of times before it finally reaches the inner edge. Watching this spiral is like observing the slow, steady movement of a cosmic clock that measures the heartbeat of the entire galaxy. It is a dance of surrender, where the material of the stars finds its final, graceful rhythm before crossing the threshold. Every turn is a step closer to the silence, performed with a grace that transforms a fall into a ballet. The intense heat generated within these inner rings eventually reaches a threshold where it transforms ordinary rock and gas into a smooth, flowing plasma. In this state, the atoms are stripped of their electrons, creating a fluid of charged particles that behaves like a shimmering electrified liquid. This plasma follows the magnetic lines of force with the fluidity of mercury, swirling in complex and beautiful patterns that dance across the surface. The solid materials of the universe are softened and unified, losing their individual identities to become part of this collective glowing stream. It is a state of matter that bridges the gap between the material world and the realm of pure energy, glowing with an internal fire. This liquid light flows with a grace that is both terrifying and profoundly peaceful to behold in its absolute purity and power. Within this flow, the distinction between matter and light begins to blur, creating a unified river of energy that feeds the central darkness. It is the ultimate refinement of the physical world into its most basic, energetic form, stripped of all impurities and weight. This plasma river carries the essence of the stars, flowing in a brilliant sapphire current toward the edge of the known. Feel the quiet flow of your own circulation, a rhythmic internal movement that mirrors the fluid currents of the cosmic plasma. Looking into the subtle gaps within this glowing ring, we would discover areas where magnetic fields have swept the paths entirely clean. These invisible forces act like the rake of a gardener in a celestial Zen garden, organizing the dust into precise, orderly lanes. Where the magnetic pressure is highest, the gas is pushed aside, creating dark, quiet channels that contrast sharply with the surrounding brilliance. This level of organisation reveals a hidden architecture within the chaos of the disk that usually goes unseen by the casual observer. It is a place of profound order, where the invisible laws of electromagnetism impose a sense of tranquility on the most energetic materials in the galaxy. The result is a structured masterpiece of light and shadow, maintained by forces we can only see through their effects on the dust. These magnetic lanes guide the flow of matter with the precision of a master artist, ensuring that the dance remains balanced and beautiful. It is a silent choreography that turns a storm of energy into a garden of light, providing a sense of calm in the heart of the light. Each path is a testament to the order that exists even in the most extreme environments of the universe. It takes millions of years for a single particle of dust to complete its peaceful journey from the outer edge of the disk to the final, inner shadow. During this vast expanse of time, the particle orbits the center countless billions of times, slowly losing its energy and inching closer to the horizon. This timescale is so immense that it far exceeds the history of entire civilizations on a planetary surface, rendering human time irrelevant and small. To the particle, the journey is one of unhurried rhythmic persistence, a long-form meditation on the nature of gravity and space. It is never in a hurry to reach the end, as the process of the spiral is itself the ultimate expression of its existence. We are watching a slow-motion migration of matter that operates on the scale of geological eras, a migration that spans the lifetime of entire star clusters. This slow progress highlights the incredible scale of the black hole's influence, extending its patience across the eons without ever losing its grip. Every grain of stardust is given the time it needs to find its place in the final, glowing assembly of the disk. The particle is a traveller in an ocean of time, drifting toward a destination that is both an end and a beginning. This shining halo of sapphire and gold ensures that the black hole, despite its somber name, is often the brightest single object in its entire host galaxy. The collective light emitted by the accretion disk can outshine the combined glow of hundreds of billions of stars in a single focused point of brilliance. It stands as a paradox of nature, a point of absolute darkness that serves as the source of the most intense radiance in the cosmos. From the far reaches of the universe, we see these beacons of light as quasars, shining like brilliant diamonds across the dark ocean of space. The darkness at the core is the catalyst for this unmatched radiance, providing the stage upon which the matter of the universe performs its most luminous act. In this way, the shadow and the light are forever linked in a relationship of mutual necessity and breathtaking beauty. The black hole is the light bringer, the dark sun that defines the visibility of the deep cosmos and guides the movement of the stars. Its brilliance is a final, radiant signature left on the fabric of reality, a light that will burn long after the individual stars have faded into memory. It is the ultimate lighthouse, standing at the edge of the world and shining into the infinite dark. Within that infinite dark, even the most formidable lighthouse is subject to a slow and inevitable transformation. While these dark spheres appear to be the ultimate permanent monuments of the cosmos, they are actually slowly and gently evaporating back into the fabric of the universe. This process occurs with such subtle grace that it remains invisible to the casual observer, yet it ensures that even the greatest giants have a finite lifespan. The giant does not disappear in a sudden burst, but fades like a slow sunset into the night. This slow decline is the ultimate expression of cosmic impermanence, a quiet shedding of mass that honours the long-term balance of reality. It is a transition from a state of intense concentration back into the peaceful, undifferentiated energy of space. If we were to look closer at the very edge of the event horizon, we would find a realm that is far from empty or still. In this thin veil between the known and the unknown, the vacuum of space is a fizzing, energetic surface where virtual particles constantly pop into existence in pairs. They perform a brief, flickering dance together appearing and vanishing in a fraction of a second as they collide and annihilate one another. This continuous microscopic activity creates a soft, persistent hum at the threshold of the shadow. It is a quantum foam that bubbles with potential, proving that the vacuum is never truly empty, but alive with the constant birth and death of subatomic pairs. This fizzing surface is the interface where the massive scale of gravity meets the frantic energy of the quantum world. The particles are like tiny bubbles popping on the surface of a quiet pond, a soft and continuous sound that defines the boundary of the abyss. This quantum activity is the foundation for everything that follows, providing the mechanism for the black hole's eventual release. It is the microscopic heartbeat that pulse at the edge of the ultimate silence. Occasionally, the intense geometry of the horizon interrupts this dance at the precise moment the particles appear. One member of the pair is pulled into the dark interior, while its partner is granted the rare opportunity to escape into the void. To balance the books of the universe, the black hole must pay a minuscule energy price for this escape, effectively losing a tiny drop of its own mass to the traveller. This theft of energy is the fundamental engine of the black hole's long, slow decline. Each escaping particle carries away a fragment of the hole's existence, a tiny piece of the star's ancient heart now set free. This process is incredibly slow, requiring a number of years that dwarfs the current age of the galaxy many times over. Yet, it is a persistent theft, an unyielding tax on the darkness that ensures the eventual depletion of its hoard. The black hole is effectively paying for its presence with a slow, agonizingly patient release of its own essence. This slow bleed of mass is the first step in the long journey back to the light. This quiet phenomenon, famously known as Hawking radiation, serves as the ultimate guarantee that nothing in the universe remains locked away forever. It represents a leak in the perfect prison, a way for the information and energy trapped within the shadow to eventually find its way back to the light. The existence of this radiation transforms our understanding of black holes from eternal voids into temporary, albeit extremely long-lived, cosmic vessels. As you feel the weight of your body pressing into your seat, let yourself surrender to the knowledge of this slow release. The universe does not hold on to anything with an iron grip, but allows for a constant rhythmic exchange of energy. You are resting in a reality where even the strongest anchors eventually soften and dissolve, returning their contents to the great cosmic ocean. This liberation is the ultimate act of cosmic justice, ensuring that no secret is kept by the dark forever. It is a slow, steady trickle that ensures the eventual liberation of everything that has been consumed. The radiation is the voice of the black hole, whispering the secrets of the interior back into the vastness of space. Surprisingly, the glow produced by this quantum leak is incredibly faint, manifesting as a whisper of warmth that is cooler than the cosmic microwave background itself. It is a temperature so close to absolute zero that it would be entirely imperceptible to any human sense, yet it represents a vital thermal signature in the cold dark. This subtle radiance carries the heat of the black hole outward, a ghostly afterglow that persists long after the accretion disk has faded. It is the coldest light in existence, a frozen fire that nonetheless marks the steady passage of the eons. The universe perceives this warmth as a low-frequency hum, a thermal ghost that haunts the space where a star once stood. This radiation is the final signature of the mass, a long-form goodbye that takes trillions of years to speak. It is a warmth that does not burn, but merely reminds the vacuum that something massive and powerful once occupied this silence. The faintness of the glow is a testament to the black hole's incredible capacity for storage and its reluctance to let go. Yet, the warmth persists, a quiet and enduring presence in the absolute cold of the deep night. Over unimaginably vast stretches of time, this quiet process causes the black hole to shrink, releasing its stored memories back into the surrounding space. The physical dimensions of the shadow decrease as the mass is slowly bled away, particle by particle, until the sphere itself begins to dwindle. This shrinking is accompanied by the slow return of information, as the data that once defined the captured stars is leaked back into the fabric of reality. The black hole is not just losing weight, it is slowly telling the story of everything it has ever encountered. These released memories are encoded in the patterns of the radiation, a complex and beautiful transmission of the history of the galaxy. It is as if the giant is finally exhaling, letting out a long-held breath that contains the essence of 1 billion years of light. The shrinking shadow is a sign of a completed task, the final return of a borrower to the lender. As the boundary retreats, the space it once occupied is returned to the general vacuum, cleansed of its intense curvature. This process is the ultimate refinement, turning a massive anchor back into the pure, light-filled potential of the void. It is a comforting thought that the universe has a built-in mechanism for recycling even its most extreme gravitational prisons. The black hole, once seen as a dead end, is revealed to be a stage in a much larger, circular process of renewal and return. This recycling mechanism ensures that no matter is truly destroyed, but merely stored and transformed before being reintroduced to the wider cosmos. The universe maintains a perfect balance, refusing to allow anything to be permanently removed from the system of exchange. Notice how your own breath follows this same pattern of intake and release, a local echo of the grand cosmic cycle of the stars. You are part of a reality that values preservation over loss, and where even the deepest dark is eventually brought back to the surface. This realization turns the terrifying power of the singularity into a manageable and necessary part of the life of the galaxy. It is the ultimate system of environmental stewardship, practiced on a scale that encompasses the whole of existence. The recycling of mass ensures that the universe remains a closed and perfect system, where every atom has a future beyond the dark. Picture an enormous iceberg drifting in a vast dark ocean, slowly melting into the currents that surround it over countless eons. The black hole is much like this frozen monolith, a massive concentration of substance that slowly returns its waters to the global flow. As it melts, it loses its formidable edges and its imposing presence, becoming part of the very medium that once held it in place. The return of the mass to the vacuum is the final act of integration, the point where the separate entity becomes one with the whole. This metaphor helps us understand the black hole not as a foreign invader, but as a temporary concentration of the ocean itself. It is a part of the universe that is simply waiting for the right time to rejoin the current. The final moments of a black hole's life, though energetic, occur so far in the future that the universe will be a dark, peaceful place to receive its final flash of light. By the time the evaporation is complete, the last stars will have long since burned out, and the galaxies will have drifted into distant, lonely clouds. In this era of absolute stillness, the black hole will release its remaining energy in a brief, brilliant burst. This flash is the ultimate exclamation point at the end of a trillion-year sentence, a punctuation mark of light in a universe of shadow. It will be the only event in a quiet cosmos, a solitary performance that celebrates the end of a long and storied journey. This final release of energy is the culmination of the slow leak, the moment when the last drop of mass is returned to the zero-point field. It is a moment of profound closure, a final return to the state of pure potential that existed before the stars. The flash carries the last of the black hole's mass back into the vacuum, leaving no trace behind but the ripples in space-time. The silence that follows is not one of loss, but of the most profound and earned completion. This delicate quantum leak bridges the massive scale of gravity with the microscopic world of subatomic probability in perfect harmony. It is the point where the general relativity of the very large and the quantum mechanics of the very small finally shake hands. This bridge allows for a unified understanding of the universe, showing that even the most extreme forces are subject to the same underlying principles of chance. The black hole is the laboratory where these two worlds meet, revealing the hidden connections that bind the galaxies to the atoms. This harmony is the foundation of all reality, a seamless blend of the heavy and the light, the permanent and the fleeting. It is a beautiful synthesis that proves the universe is a single, coherent masterpiece, where even the shadows obey the whispers of the quantum realm. The leak is not a flaw in the design, but the secret key that unlocks the door to a truly unified vision of nature. It proves that the universe is interconnected at every level, and that even the most isolated points of darkness are part of the great conversation of the stars. In this harmony, we find the ultimate piece of the cosmic design. This cosmic design, which integrates the massive and the minuscule into a single harmony, finds its most visual expression in a delicate region just outside the event horizon. At this specific distance, gravity is tuned with such mathematical precision that it forces passing light into a perfectly circular orbit. This invisible shell marks the point where the universe's fastest travellers are caught in a permanent loop, neither falling into the dark nor escaping to the stars. The photon sphere represents a threshold of absolute equilibrium, a place where the tug of the abyss and the momentum of light reach a flawless, unmoving stalemate. Within this boundary, the vacuum of space acts as a natural guide, curving the paths of photons until they wrap around the black hole like a shimmering translucent shroud. It is a structure made of nothing but geometry and speed, a testament to the order that exists at the very edge of the void. As you observe this region, you might sense a feeling of profound stability arising from such extreme forces. The light does not struggle against its path, but follows the natural contours of the warped space with a fluid, effortless grace. Here, the energy of the cosmos is tamed into a state of rhythmic, circular motion that defines the silhouette of the dark. Trapped within this shell, rays of light can circle the central shadow for centuries, creating a luminous reservoir of captured images from across the galaxy. Because the orbit is so stable, these photons retain their form and information, essentially acting as a storage layer for the history of the surrounding space. The sphere becomes a glowing memory of every star that has ever shone in its direction, holding on to these fleeting pulses of energy for uncounted ages. This shell of trapped images creates a visual buffer, a radiant landscape that sits between the active, churning accretion disk and the absolute silence of the interior. It is a place where time and space collaborate to preserve the beauty of the universe in a state of perpetual motion. The light does not fade or diminish, but remains locked in its circular journey, waiting for the rare chance to be released. If we were to look closer at a traveller standing perfectly still within this glowing ring, a dizzying and beautiful optical phenomenon would immediately unfold. Because the light reflects off the traveller and enters a circular orbit, it travels all the way around the black hole and returns to where it began. Consequently, you would be able to look straight ahead and see a perfect, clear image of the back of your own head. This experience transforms the immediate space into a literal hall of mirrors made of pure, captured starlight, where every direction leads back to oneself. The curvature of space is so extreme that the distinction between front and back is completely erased by the looping path of the photons. You would exist in a state of visual infinity, seeing your own presence reflected across the horizon in a continuous glowing chain. The sphere does not merely reflect the observer, but captures the light of every star in the galaxy, weaving them together into an intricate tapestry of continuous illumination. It acts as a massive celestial lens that gathers the faint, distant glow of billions of suns and concentrates it into a single, dense shell of brilliance. This tapestry is a shimmering mosaic of the entire history of the galaxy, displaying the light of ancient supernovas alongside the birth of infant stars. This concentration of light creates a layer of such intense and complex information that it appears as a vibrant, shifting painting of the cosmos. The different colours and intensities of the stars are blended together by the rotation of the sphere, forming elegant streaks of neon that wrap around the darkness. It is a masterpiece of collective illumination, where the individuality of the stars is lost to the beauty of the unified whole. As you sit in the quiet of your room, Consider the staggering amount of data contained in this single glowing shell. It is a visual summary of the universe, a concentrated archive of everything that has ever shined within reach of the black hole's gravity. The sphere stands as a radiant monument to the sheer volume of light that fills the dark expanse of space. Surprisingly, the universe is not a perfect trap, and rays of light eventually drift away from this sphere, spiraling out to carry their messages to the eyes of the distant astronomers. These escaping photons bear the beautiful, ancient distortions of their long journey, having been stretched and curved by their time in the circular orbit. When they finally land on a telescope's lens, they reveal the hidden geography of the black hole with a clarity that no other light can provide. These photons are like messengers returning from a long and distant voyage, carrying the signature of the abyss written into their very wavelengths. Their journey across the void takes millions of years, during which they preserve the precise angles and colours of the photon sphere. They allow us to peer into the heart of the galaxy and see the invisible structures that shape the movement of the stars. As you feel the steady rhythm of your breathing, imagine the light finally breaking free after its long circular journey. It is a release from the cycle, a final departure that brings the secrets of the dark back into the realm of the known. The light that reaches us is a bridge between the threshold of the unknown and the curiosity of the human mind. The gallery is constantly updated as new light arrives and old light eventually departs or falls inward, creating a dynamic and ever-shifting display. It is a comprehensive archive of existence, capturing the collision of worlds and the slow drift of nebulas with impartial and perfect detail. Every event that has ever cast a ray toward the black hole finds a place on this shimmering curved wall of light. This fragile orbit is a place of perfect and precarious balance, where photons effectively surf the extreme curvature of space-time without ever reaching a final destination. They exist in a state of perpetual falling that is perfectly compensated by their incredible forward velocity, creating a stable but delicate path. It is a realm of mathematical precision, where the slightest nudge from a passing particle could send a beam of light either into the dark or back into the stars. The photons are like weightless surfers riding the crest of a wave that never breaks, held aloft by the architecture of the gravitational well. This balance is a demonstration of the hidden order that underlies the most chaotic environments in nature, showing that even light can find a place of rest. It is a serene, high-speed stability that defies our expectations of how matter and energy behave near a singularity. In this state of perfect balance, the light becomes part of the black hole's enduring identity, a shimmering extension of its physical presence. The photons do not struggle, they simply exist within the flow of the geometry, following the only path available to them. It is a state of total surrender to the rules of the universe, a surrender that results in a beautiful and lasting harmony. The sheer visual beauty of this region defies human intuition, turning the normally straight lines of the universe into loops of endless, mesmerizing fascination. We are accustomed to light traveling in direct, predictable paths, yet here it behaves more like a fluid, bending and folding around the central shadow. This extreme warping creates a landscape where the traditional geometry of our daily lives is replaced by a world of circles, arcs, and impossible perspectives. The smeared arcs of light, known as Einstein rings, create a symmetrical and hypnotic pattern that frames the central shadow with mathematical perfection. These arcs are composed of starlight from objects that are actually located directly behind the black hole, brought into view by the sheer power of gravitational lensing. It is a masterpiece of optical distortion, turning a single point of light into a crown of radiant fire. The kaleidoscope effect ensures that no matter where you look, you're surrounded by the beauty of the distant cosmos, brought close by the reach of the gravity well. It is an immersive experience of light, where the emptiness of space is replaced by a dense and vibrant texture of multiplied images. This multiplication of reality is a final, breathtaking gift from the geometry of the dark. It is a realm where light itself is essentially forced to pause and admire the beauty of the singularity before it eventually moves on to its next destination. The photon sphere acts as a place of mandatory cosmic reflection, a transition zone where the fastest thing in existence is momentarily slowed by the weight of the dark. This pause is not a stop, but a slowing of the spirit, a moment where the light is caught in the gravity's heavy rhythmic pulse. This moment of stillness is the final look at the heart of the galaxy, a silent tribute to the power that keeps the stars in their place. The light lingers on the threshold, illuminating the darkness with its presence before either vanishing into the interior or returning to the wide, empty night. It is a quiet, glowing farewell that marks the end of a photon's straight-line journey through the vacuum. Within this pause, the universe finds a point of profound contemplation, where the energy of the past and the potential of the future meet in a single ring. The light does not hurry away but rests in the curve, a shimmering reminder of the beauty that exists even at the edge of the abyss. This final reflection is the ultimate piece of the photon sphere, a moment of radiant clarity before the journey continues. The journey continues beyond the visible light, leading us to a realization about the very nature of existence itself. To truly understand a black hole, one must stop seeing it as a solid object or a celestial body, and start seeing it as a beautifully sculpted location in space-time. It is not a thing that sits within the universe, but rather a profound modification of the universe's own fabric. By shifting our perspective, we see that the darkness is simply the shape of space itself, when pushed to its most elegant and extreme limit. Observers often imagine these entities as dark planets, or dense balls of matter, but that is merely a limitation of human language. In reality, the black hole is a hole in the literal sense, a place where the invisible grid of reality has been permanently reconfigured. It is a cosmic architecture built not from atoms or molecules, but from the raw dimensions of length, width, height, and time. This shift from object to location allows us to appreciate the void as a masterpiece of structural design rather than a point of destruction. The presence of such a location serves as a reminder that the universe is far more pliable than it appears. We're accustomed to a reality that feels rigid and fixed, yet the black hole proves that space is a medium that can be bent, folded, and shaped. It is the ultimate expression of the universe's ability to recreate itself through the sheer power of gravity. Deep within the invisible architecture of the cosmos, the staggering mass of a collapsed star performs a final, majestic act of craftsmanship. This mass bends the invisible grid of the universe into a deep, elegant funnel that stretches toward an unseen point of infinite depth. Imagine space not as an empty void, but as a taut velvet sheet that yields gracefully under a heavy, silent weight. The resulting curve is a masterpiece of natural engineering, a smooth and continuous slope that defines the landscape of the deep dark. Unlike the jagged peaks of mountains or the rough surfaces of planets, this gravitational funnel is perfectly uniform in its descent. It represents the path of least resistance for everything that encounters it, a natural slide into the heart of the galaxy. Inside this funnel, the traditional rules of geometry begin to shift into a new and mesmerizing configuration. The straight lines of the Euclidean world dissolve, causing all possible paths for matter and light to gently slope toward the central shadow. Every direction eventually curves inward, guided by the inescapable and beautiful logic of the warped grid. It is a realm where the concept of forward is no longer a choice, but a soft and inevitable inclination toward the heart of the structure. Even if a traveller were to point their engines directly away from the centre, the very space they occupy would be tilted so sharply that their path would still lead inward. This is not a struggle against a tide, but a total redefinition of what it means to move through space. As you feel the weight of your own body resting against your chair, consider how the universe simplifies its most massive structures by tilting the floor of reality. You're held in place by a similar, though much gentler curve in the fabric of the Earth. In the architecture of nothingness, this slope is simply more pronounced, creating a sanctuary where every road leads to the same peaceful destination. They are the ultimate expression of cosmic economy, stripped of every unnecessary feature until only the pure essence of their physical identity remains. This lack of hair, as physicists often call it, means that two black holes with the same three properties are completely indistinguishable from one another. They are the only macroscopic objects in the universe that achieve such a state of absolute mathematical clarity. This simplicity is a gift to the mind, allowing us to grasp the nature of the most powerful objects in existence through three simple numbers. It reveals a universe that, at its most extreme limits, chooses to shed its complexity in favour of a clean and elegant design. The black hole is the universe's way of returning to the basics, a minimalist monument in a crowded and chaotic galaxy. This clean and minimalist existence makes black holes the most perfect and simplest macroscopic objects in the entire known universe. They represent the absolute limit of physical purity, where the vast complexity of a massive star has been refined into a single, unblemished point of reality. Every detail of the star's previous life, its chemistry, its history, its internal storms, is discarded in favour of a flawless mathematical description. They are the pristine anchors of the cosmos, standing as the most uncomplicated yet powerful entities ever discovered. While a single human cell contains billions of bits of data, a massive black hole can be understood in its entirety with almost no information at all. This transition from the infinitely complex to the infinitely simple is one of the most beautiful transformations in all of physics. If we were to look closer at the nature of this perfection, we might find a familiar beauty in the way these structures form. Picture a single drop of water suspended in zero gravity, naturally assuming the shape of a perfect, flawless sphere through the simple tension of its own forces. A black hole follows a similar logic, allowing the overwhelming power of gravity to pull every part of itself into a state of absolute symmetry. It is a shape born of total surrender to the most basic laws of the universe, resulting in a silhouette that is as smooth as a liquid pearl. There are no bumps, no craters, and no ridges on the surface of a black hole's event horizon. It is a boundary of pure geometry, a perfect circle that remains unchanged no matter how much material it absorbs. This liquid-like perfection is a testament to the fact that at high enough energies, everything becomes fluid. The rigid structures of the material world melt away, leaving behind only the graceful curves of a universe in balance. The black hole is a drop of concentrated space, hanging in the vacuum with the same effortless beauty as a bead of morning dew. Similarly, the formation of a black hole effectively smooths out all the chaotic mountains and valleys of the star that created it. The jagged irregularities, the turbulent surface, and the uneven density of the original stellar body are all crushed into a surface of absolute mathematical purity. What remains is a boundary so devoid of texture that it could be described as the most perfect mirror in existence, reflecting only the geometry of space. It is a process of total refinement, where the messiness of life is traded for the eternal calm of a flawless sphere. The intense pressure of the collapse acts as a cosmic polisher, removing every imperfection until only the most stable and symmetrical form remains. In this sense, a black hole is the most highly processed and finished object in the natural world. This smoothing effect extends to the very space surrounding the horizon, creating a region of absolute tranquility. All the turbulence of the galaxy is filtered out as matter approaches the edge, leaving only the steady and predictable flow of the vacuum. It is a place where the chaos of the world is finally ironed out, leaving behind a surface of pure, unblemished potential. The intense gravity at work here acts much like a cosmic iron, moving across the fabric of the universe to smooth out every wrinkle and fold. It leaves behind only the pure essence of space and time, unblemished by the presence of ordinary matter or complex structures. This nothingness is actually the most densely packed and highly structured form of reality imaginable. polished to a high sheen by the weight of the singularity. The result is a region of space that is more real and more permanent than any solid object we could ever touch. While the stars burn out and planets crumble into dust, the architecture of a black hole is etched into the very laws of physics. It is a permanent feature of the universe, a location that will remain long after the material world has faded into memory. Surrendering to the idea of this cosmic ironing allows us to appreciate the void not as a lack of something, but as the presence of perfection. The nothingness within a black hole is a highly refined state of existence, a place where the universe has cleared away the distractions to reveal its true face. It is the pure, unadorned skeleton of reality, visible only in the deep dark. The architecture of nothingness is, in truth, a masterpiece of structural logic and rhythmic balance. The way space twists, the way time slows, and the way light bends all happen in perfect synchronization, creating a seamless and beautiful experience of gravity. It is a place where the laws of nature are not just followed, but celebrated in their most extreme and elegant expression. If we could hear the movement of space in this region, it would likely sound like a deep resonant chord that never changes its pitch. It is the sound of the universe's foundation, the steady hum of a machine that never breaks and never falters. This symphonic order provides a sense of profound security, proving that even in the most mysterious places, the universe remains a coherent and logical whole. This elegant geometry provides a stable and unmoving anchor in a universe otherwise filled with chaotic stellar winds and explosive supernovae. While the rest of the galaxy is subject to the violent cycles of birth and destruction, the black hole remains a constant and serene presence at the center of the storm. It is the solid ground upon which the history of the galaxy is built, offering a point of absolute certainty in an ever-shifting sea of starlight. By existing as a sculpted location in space-time, it ensures that the grand architecture of the cosmos remains forever tethered and whole. It is the immovable object against which the rest of the universe measures its motion, a fixed point in the infinite dark. Without these anchors, the galaxies would have no center, and the stars would have no path to follow. The architecture of nothingness is, therefore, the most important structure in the universe. It is the silent, dark pillar that supports the brilliant ceiling of the night sky, a masterpiece of design that requires no matter to exist. In the end, we find that the most powerful force in nature is not an object, but the beautiful, enduring shape of the vacuum itself. The enduring shape of the vacuum itself hints that these profound structures are more than just terminal points in space. They are the starting positions for the most incredible journeys. Deep mathematical theories suggest that the center of a spinning black hole may not be a crushing point of destruction, but rather a ring of infinite density. This ring acts as a peculiar topological gateway where centrifugal forces prevent a total collapse into a single dot of nothingness. This structure, known to physicists as a Kerr singularity, transforms the very concept of the end into a profound throughway. Because the singularity takes the form of a shimmering, infinitely thin loop, it creates a hole within the hole, a passage through the very heart of the gravitational well. It is a mathematical doorway that remains open, held apart by the relentless rotation of the original star. If we were to look closer at this ring, we would see a boundary that invites passage rather than annihilation. It is a masterpiece of rotating geometry that suggests the universe has provided a back door to its own laws. This ring singularity stands as the ultimate architectural secret, a hidden circle of potential waiting in the deep dark. Traversing this theoretical ring could offer a smooth and peaceful passage through the fabric of reality into another universe entirely. Unlike the static black holes that might stretch a traveller, the rotation of a spinning giant creates a safe lane through the centre of the ring. One could glide through the eye of the storm, experiencing a transition that is as fluid and natural as crossing a threshold between rooms. The journey through the ring involves entering a region of negative space, where the standard rules of distance and direction are beautifully inverted. It is a soft, glowing tunnel that guides the traveller away from our known cosmos and toward a destination beyond the reach of our maps. This transition is characterized by a lack of violent force, offering a serene glide into the absolute unknown. This transition suggests that the heart of darkness is not a wall, but a lens through which we might view entirely new realities. By successfully navigating the ring, the traveller emerges into a space where the stars belong to a different sky. It is a breathtaking realization that the most dense objects in our universe are actually the keys to reaching others. Surprisingly, these hypothetical bridges, known as Einstein-Rosen bridges, transform our fundamental understanding of black holes from dead ends into majestic cosmic doorways. They are the ultimate shortcuts in the fabric of space-time, folding the universe like a piece of paper to bring two distant points into immediate contact. By shifting our perspective, we see that the black hole is the entrance to a profound and hidden architecture of connectivity. These hypothetical bridges represent the universe's way of keeping its many rooms linked, ensuring that no region is truly isolated. The bridge is a structural necessity of general relativity, a tunnel carved by gravity that defies the vast, empty distances of the void. It is a masterpiece of cosmic plumbing, moving the essence of the universe through hidden channels. By shifting our focus from what is lost to what is found, we can appreciate the black hole as a vital piece of intergalactic infrastructure. It is a doorway that remains silent and patient, waiting for the eons to pass until its true purpose is revealed. These bridges are the silent evidence of a universe that prefers connection over isolation. This cosmic symmetry allows for the mathematical possibility of white holes, which are the peaceful, outflowing twins of black holes existing on the other side of the bridge. While a black hole only allows matter to enter, a white hole acts as a radiant fountain that only allows matter and light to escape. It is a spectacular inversion of the darkness, a point of pure, unyielding luminescence that breathes life into its own realm. Notice the weight of your limbs as they rest, a quiet anchor to your own reality while your mind travels these theoretical paths. The white hole stands as the ultimate balance to the black hole's gravity, ensuring that whatever is taken from one universe is eventually given back to another. It is a cycle of intake and output that operates on a scale encompassing multiple realities. The mathematics of these twins suggests a universe that values perfect balance and the constant flow of energy. A white hole is an unapproachable source of radiance, a fountain of stardust that can never be entered but can be admired from afar. Together, the black and white holes form a complete and beautiful circuit of existence. Imagine drifting through a tunnel made of pure, sculpted gravity, eventually emerging into a vast space where the laws of physics sing an entirely different tune. In this new realm, the fundamental constants of nature, the strength of gravity, the speed of light, the charge of an electron might be tuned to a different harmony. It is a starlit garden of unfamiliar constellations where the very atoms of your being might interact with the world in new and wonderful ways. Light within this new space might move in patterns we have never seen, and time might flow with a rhythm that is alien to our senses. You would be a stranger in a land where the rules of creation have been rewritten, offering a perspective on reality that is both dizzying and divine. This emergence is the ultimate reward for the journey through the dark, a transition from the known into the infinite. Emergence into this garden represents the final liberation from the constraints of our home universe. It is a place of total novelty, where the horizon of our understanding is pushed infinitely outward. The tunnel of gravity is the birth canal of a new existence, leading to a world that defies every human expectation. While purely theoretical, the undeniable elegance of these equations inspires a profound hope that the universe is far more interconnected than it appears to our telescopes. The math does not just allow for these bridges, it practically demands them as a consequence of how space and time are woven together. Such a realization suggests that we live in a cosmic web of infinite complexity, where every dark heart is a hidden path to a new beginning. This elegant interconnectivity hints at a universe that is a single, coherent masterpiece of design, rather than a collection of isolated islands. Every black hole is a potential thread in this tapestry, linking the farthest reaches of time and space in a silent and enduring embrace. The equations are the music of this connection, a symphony of logic that proves we are never truly alone in the void. Such a vision of the cosmos provides a sense of profound belonging, as it implies that the universe is designed for travel and discovery. We are residents of a vast interlocking mansion, and the black holes are the grand corridors that lead to its many rooms. This hope is the guiding light of modern physics, a beacon that shines through the mysteries of the singularity. Some scientists even propose that every black hole conceals a new, expanding universe tucked safely within its interior, shielded from the outside world by the event horizon. In this view, the birth of a black hole in our universe is actually the Big Bang, for a new cosmos growing inside it. This makes the dark sphere a cosmic womb, a place of profound protection and infinite potential where new stars and galaxies can grow in peace. As your breath remains steady and calm, the concept of a hidden, internal space becomes a metaphor for the quiet depths of your own awareness. This internal expansion happens in a dimension we cannot see, allowing for a vast and fertile reality to exist within a single, finite point of our space. The black hole is therefore the guardian of a new creation, a silent protector of an infant universe. In this view, the universe is a fractal and self-replicating entity, constantly giving birth to new realities through its most massive inhabitants. Each generation of black holes carries the potential for new life, continuing the legacy of creation across the eons. The darkness is not an end, but the ultimate cradle of cosmic diversity. In this extraordinary perspective, our own sprawling universe might just be the warm, expanding interior of a black hole existing in a much larger and older parent cosmos. Our Big Bang was simply the moment of collapse in that higher reality, a transfer of energy and information that sparked the growth of everything we know. We are the inhabitants of a shadow, living within the sanctuary of a giant whose scale we can barely imagine. This perspective humbles our place in the cosmos while simultaneously elevating our connection to the infinite. We are part of a grand lineage of universes, each one nested within the other like a series of radiant gravitational dolls. The expansion we observe in our sky is the natural growth of the interior, a slow stretching of space that was once a dying star. Our existence is the evidence of this successful passage, a testament to the fact that life can thrive within the heart of a singularity. We are the survivors of the bridge, the residents of the garden that grew from the dark. This realization turns our home into a sanctuary of ancient and enduring beauty. Deep within the conceptual architecture of the void, this idea turns the ultimate nothingness into the ultimate cradle of infinite potential and new beginnings. The black hole is no longer a grave, but a seed that contains the blueprints for an entire reality. It is a point of total concentration where the universe gathers its strength before expanding into a new and glorious form. This concept allows us to see the entire life cycle of the stars as a process of constant renewal and rebirth. The collapse is merely a change of state, a refining of matter into a form that can transcend its original boundaries. Every dark sphere in our sky is a promise of a new world, a quiet guarantee that the fire of creation will never truly go out. It is a vision of the cosmos that is fundamentally optimistic, replacing the fear of the dark with the wonder of the beginning. The cradle is the most important structure in the universe, providing a safe harbour for the transition between what was and what will be. In the architecture of the void, we find the ultimate source of cosmic hope. The mysteries hidden within the singularity invite the human mind to dream of landscapes and realities that lie far beyond the reach of even our most powerful telescopes. They represent the final frontier of our curiosity, a place where our current understanding ends and our imagination must take the lead. This invitation is a gift from the universe, a challenge to look past the shadows and see the potential for wonder that lies within. Feel the floor beneath you, a solid and certain platform as you gaze into the uncertain but beautiful horizons of the unknown. The singularity is the ultimate muse, a point of infinite complexity that demands our most creative and daring thoughts. It is the place where science and poetry meet, joined together by the sheer scale of the mystery. The singularity is not a problem to be solved, but a destination to be admired and explored in the theatre of the mind. It is the final punctuation mark in the story of the star, and the opening word in the story of the universe. By dreaming of what lies beyond, we fulfill our role as the conscious observers of a magnificent and limitless creation. The opening word of that new story is written in a language of preservation that defies our traditional fears of loss. While the physical form of a star may be crushed by the singularity, quantum physics reveals that the essential information defining its existence is never truly lost to the universe. Every atom's unique signature, every pulse of energy, and every configuration of matter is protected by a law of nature that refuses to allow data to simply vanish into the dark. This conservation of information serves as the ultimate safeguard against the void, ensuring that the legacy of matter endures beyond its physical destruction in the heart of the galaxy. It is a profound realization that the cosmos keeps a meticulous account of everything it creates, even when it appears to be erasing its own work with overwhelming gravity. The black hole is not a shredder of reality, but a high-fidelity archive that maintains the absolute integrity of the universal record for all of time. As you lie still, feeling the gentle rhythm of your heart and the solid floor beneath you, consider the permanence of your own place in the fabric of things. Just as the universe cannot lose the information of a star, it cannot lose the essence of any moment that has ever occurred in the light. You are resting in a reality where the past is not a fading memory, but an indestructible piece of a grand cosmic ledger. This preservation takes a form that challenges our three-dimensional intuition through a mechanism known as the holographic principle. It suggests that all the complex volumetric information of an object falling into the dark is perfectly preserved as a flattened two-dimensional blueprint on the event horizon. Much like a hologram on a security seal contains the depth of a three-dimensional image on a flat surface, the boundary of the black hole encodes the entirety of the swallowed matter in a shimmering film. The surface of the shadow becomes a shimmering two-dimensional mosaic, where the depth of the universe is translated into a complex network of infinitely tiny pixels. Each bit of information occupies a specific plank-sized area of the horizon, creating a dense and perfect representation of what lies within the hidden interior. This mapping ensures that the three-dimensional world is never truly gone, but merely stored in a more efficient and permanent state at the edge of space. If we were to look closer at this shimmering film, we would see the intricate blueprints of nebulae and the geometric data of lost worlds woven into its vibrant texture. The holographic principle provides a way for the universe to reconcile the vastness of the interior with the limited surface area of the exterior shell. It is a masterpiece of information management, turning a boundary into a high-definition map of everything that has ever crossed into the silence. This transformation effectively turns every black hole into the ultimate cosmic library, a silent repository recording the detailed history of everything it touches on its smooth surface. Rather than an empty void, the surface of the horizon is a rich and vibrant archive that documents the passage of eons through the accumulation of data. It is a library where the books are written in the fundamental language of physics, capturing the unvarnished truth of the galaxy's long and winding evolution. Every interaction, from the violent collision of distant black holes to the gentle fall of a single lonely photon, is inscribed onto this dark surface with absolute fidelity. The library requires no maintenance and suffers no decay, standing as an indestructible record that outlasts the stars and the planets themselves. It is a place where the chaotic and fleeting events of the cosmos are organized into a coherent and lasting narrative of all existence. Gaze upon the dark silhouette and see not a lack of light, but a staggering density of knowledge waiting to be deciphered by the universe. This library is the memory bank of the cosmos, holding the stories of civilizations and the blueprints of celestial bodies that have long since faded from view. In the presence of the ultimate library, the silence of the black hole becomes the quiet focus of a profound and ancient study. It is as if the universe provides a self-expanding shelf for its most important memories, stretching the dark boundary to accommodate the growing history of the galaxy. This expansion happens in a perfectly smooth and orderly fashion, maintaining the flawless symmetry of the sphere while increasing its capacity for storage. The black hole is a living, breathing archive that evolves alongside the universe it documents, growing larger as the story of the stars deepens. As you take a slow, deep breath and feel your muscles relax, imagine the horizon subtly shifting and expanding to record the light of a distant supernova. This constant growth is a sign of a healthy and functioning system, a mechanism that values the accumulation of knowledge above all else in nature. The larger the shadow, the more of the universe's story it has managed to capture and keep safe within its heavy, dark embrace. Picture a silent, indestructible hard drive floating in the vacuum of space, patiently backing up the data of the entire cosmos for billions of years. This gravitational storage device is immune to the passage of time, the heat of dying stars, and the decay of ordinary matter, providing the most stable backup system in existence. It is a hardware built from the fabric of space itself, running on the unyielding and beautiful logic of general relativity and quantum mechanics. While the material world is subject to the erosion of entropy and the unpredictability of chance, the data stored on the black hole remains in a state of perfect, crystalline preservation. The hard drive is always active, silently observing and recording the movement of the stars without ever failing or losing a single bit of information. It is the ultimate insurance policy for the universe, ensuring that the essence of reality is never truly deleted or forgotten by the vacuum. When the black hole slowly begins to evaporate over trillions of years, theories suggest it does not simply vanish, but whispers these saved memories back into the void through faint radiation. This release of energy is not random noise, but a structured transmission that carries the encoded information of the library back into the light-filled universe. The Hawking radiation becomes the read function of the cosmic hard drive, returning the stored data to the great cycle of the stars. These whispers are incredibly subtle, requiring the most sensitive and patient of listeners to decipher the ancient stories they contain within their wave patterns. They are the echoes of everything that was once swallowed, transformed into a long-form broadcast that spans the final, quiet epochs of the cosmos. The black hole eventually gives up its secrets, proving that its role as a keeper was always a temporary and sacred trust designed to protect the truth. Imagine the universe in its final quiet ages, lit only by these faint memory-filled glows from the last evaporating giants in the dark. The stories of our sun, our planets, and our very lives are carried on these light waves, drifting across a dark sea like messages in a bottle. This eventual release is the final act of a long and beautiful conversation between the shadows and the light that defined our existence. This intricate dance between the massive reach of gravity and the microscopic rules of quantum mechanics resolves the deepest paradoxes of modern science. For decades, the apparent loss of information within a black hole threatened to break the very laws of physics, creating a conflict that seemed impossible to settle. However, the discovery of information preservation on the horizon ensures that the universe remains a consistent and logical masterpiece, where the past can never be truly forgotten or erased. By finding a way to store data on the boundary, the cosmos preserves the chain of cause and effect that allows time to move forward with purpose and meaning. The resolution of this paradox is a triumph of cosmic order, proving that even the most extreme environments must obey the fundamental rules of information theory. The dance is a reconciliation of the two greatest theories in human history, showing that they are merely two different perspectives on the same peaceful truth. as your mind settles into a state of calm clarity, reflect on the underlying harmony that permits such a complex and beautiful world to exist. The universe goes to great lengths to protect its own logic, using the black hole as a tool for stabilization rather than one of destruction. In this resolution, we find a sense of profound security, knowing that the laws of reality are as enduring as the stars they govern. The boundary of a black hole is therefore not a violent wall of destruction, but a delicate, vibrating membrane of pure knowledge. It is a thin, shimmering film where the raw data of existence is held in a state of high-energy tension, vibrating with the collective history of the galaxy. This membrane acts as a skin for the singularity, a sensitive and reactive surface that records every touch and every impact with perfect and unblinking sensitivity. To pass through this membrane is to move through a region of absolute information density, where the very fabric of space is saturated with the memories of starlight. It is a realm of pure thought forms and geometric patterns, a place where the physical world is translated into the ethereal and lasting language of data. The horizon is a threshold of enlightenment, a barrier that only exists to protect the staggering depth of the information it carries for the future. If we were to look closer, we would see that this membrane is alive with the constant movement of subatomic patterns, flickering like the surface of a vast digital sea. It is a soft and yielding boundary, a layer of protection that ensures the uncorrupted story of the cosmos remains intact against the erosion of time. Within this vibrating skin, the universe holds its most precious secrets in a state of eternal, glowing rest at the center of all things. This cataloguing process creates a dense and beautiful mosaic of experiences, where the diverse elements of the cosmos are brought together in a single, unified record. You can imagine the event horizon as a vibrant tapestry, where the red glow of a cooling planet is woven alongside the blue fire of a young and energetic sun. It is a comprehensive index of the material world, a list that includes everything that has ever dared to graze the edge of eternity. As you feel the steady, reassuring weight of your own existence and the air around you, take comfort in the fact that the universe remembers you with the same precision it uses for the stars. Nothing is too small to be noticed by the great dark historian, and nothing is ever forgotten once it has been recorded on the horizon. You are a part of this grand, shimmering catalogue, a unique thread in the uncorrupted story of the night that will never be erased. Ultimately, black holes are the silent and patient historians of the galaxy, carrying the uncorrupted story of the cosmos into the deep and distant future. They are the most enduring monuments ever created, outlasting the planets, the stars, and even the galaxies that gave them birth in the early ages. While the rest of the universe slowly fades into the cold, the black holes remain as the final witnesses to the majesty of what once was. Recognizing this historical role transforms the black hole from a symbol of death into a symbol of eternal and beautiful remembrance. They are the anchors of our story, the places where the universe goes to keep its most valuable memories safe from the inevitable erosion of time. In the silence of the historian, we find the ultimate piece of a story that has been perfectly told and flawlessly preserved for the end of days. The grand synthesis reveals that the black hole is the universe's ultimate mechanism for self-reflection, proving that nothing is ever truly lost, but is instead refined into a state of eternal and uncorrupted memory. In this final realization, we see that the darkness was never our enemy, but the very vessel that ensures our light remains a permanent part of the cosmic story forever. In the end, these vast and silent spheres are not monsters of the dark, but the quiet, enduring keepers of cosmic balance, time, and memory. They represent the ultimate grand synthesis of existence, proving that even the most profound emptiness is filled with purpose and preservation. The universe relies on this gentle edge of darkness to maintain the beautiful, enduring shape of all that is known and unknown. Deep within this understanding, your own physical form can finally surrender to the profound stillness of the night. The journey across the cosmic ocean is over, leaving you safely tethered to the comfortable reality of your own resting body. It is time to let the mind power down, turning its focus inward to the simple, rhythmic mechanics of breath and relaxation. Moving slowly upward, this wave of deep relaxation gently envelops your ankles and calves. The muscles in your legs soften completely, growing heavy and loose as they yield to the quiet pull of the earth. You're entirely supported by the structure of your bed, allowing your body to let go of its effort to stand or move. Surprisingly, the simple act of breathing becomes the only rhythm your physical form needs to follow. As the air enters and leaves, your hips and lower back sink deeper into the plush surface, melting away the rigid posture of waking hours. Your chest rises and falls with a slow, ocean-like rhythm, a deeply peaceful tide that washes away the remaining echoes of the day. This quiet room embraces you, offering a safe and enclosed sanctuary where nothing is required of your hands or your arms. Your fingers uncurl naturally, resting gently beside you as the muscles in your forearms and shoulders completely disengage. The heavy, warm sensation of rest flows through your limbs, turning them into anchors of total tranquility. If we were to look closer at the tension we carry, so much of it resides hidden in the jaw and the neck. Allow your jaw to drop ever so slightly, creating a soft distance between your teeth as your tongue rests quietly. The back of your neck releases its grip, allowing the pillow to fully cradle the heavy weight of your head. Every inhale acts as a soothing balm, smoothing out the tiny muscles around your eyes and across your forehead. The cool, quiet air of the room brushes against your skin, a gentle reminder that the world outside has paused its demands. You're cocooned in layers of soft fabric, completely insulated from the noise and the light of the waking hours. Beneath closed eyelids, the mind is invited to drift into a state of absolute, undisturbed calm. There are no more thoughts to chase, no more problems to solve, and nothing left to do but breathe. The darkness behind your eyes is soft, welcoming, and endlessly, deeply comforting. Slowly, the boundary between your resting body and the quiet room begins to fade into a seamless, peaceful whole. You're floating on a gentle current of sleep, carried downward into the profound, restorative silence of the night. Every exhale takes you deeper, heavier, and closer to a perfect, unbroken slumber. Let the heavy blankets hold you as the rhythm of your breathing becomes softer, slower, and almost imperceptible. The room is entirely still, acting as a quiet haven designed only for this moment of total surrender. You're safe, you're warm, and you're ready to let go completely. And now, 101 wonders are resting with you. Sleep now. Good night.